So we now learned Spark servers, mainframe, and the blade servers. Today we will talk about another important type, that is RAC servers. This is one of the most common types of servers you will find in a business, data centers, and even educational institutions. So RAC services are popular because they balance power, space, cost, and flexibility. Let's start from the basics and build up slowly so that everyone understands. So what is mainly RAC server? RAC server is nothing but is a standard sized rectangular server that is designed for to fit inside a metal rack frame. Imagine a tall cupboard or a shelf that holds books. Now imagine that instead of a books, you place a servers in each row. You can see in the pictures also. And that is how rack services work. Each server slides us into a slot on the rack. These racks are usually found in a server rooms or data centers where many services are needed in one place. Each server in the rack works as independently with its own processor, memory, hard drive, and power. So why it is called rack server? It is called rack server because it is called inside a rack cabinet, a structure that looks like a tower shelf. This rack allows multiple services to be stacked on top of another vertically using the limited floor space. The standard size of a rack unit is called U. One rack server might take 1U, 2U, or depending upon how thick it is. So where are rack servers are used? RAC services are extremely popular and used in many places, small to large business for hosting websites, internal apps or file servers, data centers. Companies stack dozens or hundreds of RAC services to build powerful computing environments. Universities for researching, learning, and hosting systems. Startups and tech companies because RAC services are affordable and easy to scale. Hospital or schools to store records and manage the networks. So basically, if a company needs more than one server, but doesn't want to go too advanced like a blade or a mainframe, they choose a rack servers. So features of rack servers. Now let's go over the important features of a rack servers in a simple terms, like independent operations. Each rack server can work on its own, like it's not a shared like a blade servers. Stacked design servers are stacked vertically to save space. Easy cooling. Rack servers allow airflow between the servers with the fans and vents. Standardized size. Most rack servers follow a standardized size, making them easy to install and replace. Then cable management. Rack allows us a neat management of cables using a sidepaths or a cable arms. Flexible use. You can run email servers as file storage, databases, or a virtual machines on a rack servers. Affordable and scalable. Easy to start with 1 to 2 servers and grow by adding more units later. So I will tell you a simple analogy. Like we can compare it to this one is a library shelf. Each server is like a book, independent and doing its own job. The shelf is the rack. Keeping everything is organized, easy to find and saving space. Unlike the blade services that share power and cooling, each books or a server this in this shelf comes us with its own setup. So we can compare it with the rack servers and the blade servers. So you can see this picture, two of them. Okay, rack services are more independent, has its own power and cooling, but blade services are dependent. So on the chases of power and cooling and management, and rack servers for easier and small and mid-sized company. So blade servers are better when a space is extremely limited, like in a large data center. So in short, blade servers is equal to compact and shared. RAC servers is equal to independent and modular. That's it all about the differences. So then popular RAC servers are Dell PowerEdge R series, H ProLiant, DL series, Cisco USC's RAC servers are the popular RAC servers brands. Yeah, this is widely used in data centers and IT departments around the world. So RAC servers is how it's connected in cybersecurity. Okay. Now we can go through that how it connects RAC services to cybersecurity. This is the part is very important for your career. So server hardening. That is nothing but server RAC services are usually run operating system like Linux or Windows servers. Cybersecurity team works us to harden these servers as to that means removing unnecessary service or updating the software and configuring the firewalls. Access control is nothing but RAC servers are placed in a secure server room with a limited physical access. Only authorized staff should be allowed inside. We used role-based access controls on the software level. And patch management, since RAC services are run important applications, they must be kept to up to date. So security teams must regularly apply security patches to avoid the vulnerabilities. And firewalls and intrusion detection systems integrations, RAC servers often host critical services like web services or a database. Cybersecurity expert places firewalls and intrusion detection systems around them to monitor and filter the traffic. So virtualization security is nothing but like many RAC services run virtual machines. Each virtual machine needs to be protected just like a real computer. Misconfigured virtual machines can be entry points for attackers. Logging and monitoring RAC services are general logs about logins, file changes, errors. These logs are collected by cybersecurity tools like security information event management to detect attacks early. Backups and disaster recovery. Cybersecurity teams is also plan regular backups so that if an attack happens like a ransomware, data can be restored. So cybersecurity and RAC servers go hand in hand, protecting the server, the data, and the users. So maybe you may ask, maybe you may think, will I ever work with the RAC servers as a cybersecurity professionals? Yes, especially in a small to mid-sized companies, as colleges or IT departments. You might manage firewall rules as patched updates and antivirus software or a monitor access logs on RAC-based system. So understanding how RAC services operate gives you the ability to secure the real world infrastructures. Okay. Let's say a college has a server room with a six RAC servers. One's run with a student portal. Another examination system is another one is the examination system. Another one is used for a file sharing. So if a hacker finds a weak password, one of them, so they could be steal or modify the data. That's why cybersecurity teams set as strong passwords, as limit login attempts, and monitor activity on each RAC server. So even in an individual environment, RAC servers are secure and monitored by security teams. Let me quick wrap about the RAC servers. Like a RAC server is a standard sized rectangular server placed in a RAC cabinet. Each rack can hold multiple servers stacked vertically, and RAC servers are used in a business, data centers, colleges, and IT departments. They are easy to maintain, scalable, and stacked vertically. And in cybersecurity, and also it's a cost efficient. In cybersecurity, they protected by access controls, patches, firewalls, logging, and regular audits. Cybersecurity students must learn how to secure, monitor, and update the RAC servers in a real environments. So, and that is everything you need to about RAC servers. Now you have learned about Spark, mainframe, Blade, and RAC servers. Each one has its own use and importance, and now you understand how they connected to cybersecurity responsibilities. If you have any doubt, just ping me in the comment. I am here to explain further. Thank you.